All right, everybody, it's 11 o'clock. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Cosimo. I'm Rob Frasca, and I'm one of the managing partners of Cosimo Ventures. And this is the 10th Coffee with Cosimo, and I'm joined here by John Lester, VP of Operations over at npayme Labs. Hey, John, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing this day after Memorial Day?
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, good weekend, hopefully, right? We're all recovering from picnicking and drinking. Anyway, look, today's all about NFTs. And John, I've known John, you've been in the NFT market now since the beginning. I don't think there's a better guy on that we could talk to about NFTs and really have a little educational talk about them. So what I've got, I prepared, I don't know, about 5 or 6 questions here about NFTs and we'll talk about them. I see more and more people coming online here. Welcome to Coffee with Cosmo. So hey, let's start. So what the heck is an NFT? Let's start with the basics. I know it stands for non-fungible token, but talk to
Yeah.
me. Talk to me, John.
Well, non-fungible just means unique. It means it's one of a kind. Fungible means like, with tokens like when you talk about, because sometimes you hear crypto talked about as a token, like Bitcoin is a token, NPay is a token, things like that. But they're fungible. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. They're all the same. The same way dollars are fungible, right? But unique things are non-fungible. And so the idea with NFTs was, what if we could create tokens that exist on the blockchain that instead of being like Bitcoin, they're actually unique. Like there's this one of a kind token, and we could create categories of these tokens. We could say here are, John's NFT tokens, and then there's a collection of maybe 50 of them or 100 of them, and they're each very unique. They're all part of the same collection, but they're all unique. And so at the core of it, that's what an NFT is. It is simply something that exists on the blockchain that is one of a kind.
So how does it use the blockchain? Like how do these things go hand in hand? How does the NFT how does it use that tech?
Well, first of all, you have to have it involves using smart contracts, right? So when you talk about NFTs, you're going to talk about blockchains that are they're called EVM compliant or Ethereum virtual machine. That just means they're all based on they're sort of derivatives of or similar to Ethereum, which means they have smart contracts because smart contracts are what allow you to create these unique tokens. And I'm not going to get into any of the deep technical details, but it's basically using smart contracts, you can create unique tokens. Now, that concept is really cool, but the other thing that really made NFTs take off and hit the general public was that you could attach data to these NFTs, right? So in general, a coin, a token like Bitcoin or whatever, it's just a coin, right? But it's like, what if you could attach additional information? We call that metadata. Like, what if we could attach metadata to these tokens and make them completely different? So the first type of metadata that people decided to attach to NFTs were pictures. And that started the whole, and what happened was that's what the whole rush of NFTs taking off really focused on were NFTs, and everyone was like, look at my NFT, it's a picture. Look at my NFT, it's a picture of a cartoon monkey. Look at my NFT. Before that, it was crypto kitties. Look at this cute little kitten. And I have a unique little kitten, and it has certain attributes, and it's a non-fungible kitten. Like in the real world, everyone's cat is different. I've got a very unique creature, right? So with NFTs, the metadata that everyone is aware of is like, oh, it's people going on to Jimmy Fallon and talking about Bored Ape Yacht Club pictures, right? Oh, this is a unique type and it's one of a kind, and so that's really uh, that's the real special sauce around NFTs is this ability to attach metadata. Now we can go into it deeper later, but it's not just pictures. It could be any kind of data. It could be documents, it could be video, it could be actually an entire, library of content of binary data of any kind of data can be attached to an NFT.
So it could be video or audio or anything,
Hmm. Legal
basically
documents,
legal
PDFs,
document.
whatever. Yeah.
So in that way, it's non-fungible. It could be like a painting, right? A digital
Hmm.
painting. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I own that digital painting, right? And then and because it's digital, right? It can make it you can make it easily saleable, right? I could sell it to you, right?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on with OpenSea and all of
Yeah,
this?
exactly. So once people started creating these things, they're like, hey, I wonder if there's a market for them, you know? And so people started selling them, and the biggest name that you hear out there is OpenSea. OpenSea is a marketplace for buying and selling NFTs. All of those NFTs, in the early days, it was all just pictures. I'm going to make collection of NFTs, and it's going to be 20 unique, pigeons or whatever that I've hand drawn.
Right.
Over time, though, people started doing things like, hey, I could sell my music. I could sell limited edition, one of a kind songs as NFTs. And you can also do an interesting thing with NFTs is like they're still called NFTs, but you can have NFTs where there's more than one copy, but just a limited edition. So you could say like, hi, I'm a musician. I'm going to sell my album. I'm only going to sell 1,000 copies of my album, and I'm going to release it as an NFT. And everyone will get a unique NFT, but it's only going to be like one of 1,000, number two of 1,000. So think of like a print, right? Like a numbered print. That's
Yep.
what NFTs are also like.
Got it.
So it started opening up a whole marketplace for people, for content creators to sell their music, to sell their videos and have it all be digital at
Yep.
the same time.
No, I know like in the video game industry, my son plays a lot of video games, I do, and there's this, there's this concept of items in game, right? And there's this concept of it's a common, right? It's a rare, meaning there's
Hmm.
only 100 of them. It's an epic, which means there's only maybe 10 of them. And then there's like a legendary item, like a sword. And that legendary, there's only two of them in the game and they have superpowers, right?
Yeah.
So, and people, trade these items in the game for crazy, value because there's only two of them, right? You could do the same thing with NFTs, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah.
in
And that and
other ways, that kind of the confluence of metaverses and video gaming can kind of fit with this NFT concept, correct?
exactly. And it all comes down again to the metadata. You can have metadata. And again, metadata just means additional information about an NFT that says something like, "Hi, I am a pigeon NFT, and there are only, there are 1,000 of these different pigeon NFTs, but only two of them are albino pigeons." Right. And mine is one albino pigeon. Oh, I've got an albino. So immediately you can quantify the rareness. And this is
Right.
where gamers get all excited because they're like, oh, there are 20,000 different swords, but only two of them have the special jewel that has this property or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
ultra rare or
Right.
legendary. And you can do the same thing. So artists started releasing collections, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to release one of these pigeons is going to be like wearing a hat, and that's
Right.
one of a kind. Like there's no other pigeon that has the hat.
Right.
So you have like these characteristics that you
Yeah.
can map onto your NFT. And again, I'm talking about visual things, but it could be, you can arbitrarily create whatever you want. And so you're totally right in that there's this huge intersection with gaming because that's how gamers think when they think of items in game. I have this item that my character is using, a special kind of gun, special
Right.
kind of
Right.
hat or whatever,
So
and all that.
yeah, so one of the things I've heard about is this concept of token gating and using the token itself, these NFTs, as almost like a membership. Talk to me a
Hmm.
little bit about that. Like how does that work? Right. So now I've got
Yeah.
this NFT and it's a pigeon. Let's say it's it's or I don't know, we create a Rob Frasca, NFT. And how do I use that token to gate? What does that mean? What's all and
Yeah.
membership? I see these
Yeah. It's
membership.
really, yeah, exactly. So, the thing you have to remember about any new technology is always like the first use cases of it are not going to be the killer use cases of it, right? So when NFTs first came out, it was all about I've got I'm collecting pictures of things, and that's it. It's just a picture. What can I do with it? Nothing. I can look at it. Can I print it? Yeah. Can I display it on a monitor? Okay. Can I show it on my Apple Watch? Yeah. Okay. But what can you actually what is the use? What can I use it for? And so in my opinion, like the one of the real big use cases that's coming that people are already starting to do is you start to realize, okay, if I have an NFT of any kind, let me say I'm going to make an NFT and it's going to be like, the Rob Frasca uh, special collector card or something, and there's only 100 of them, and I sell them, right? And it's like, well, if somebody has that NFT in their cryptocurrency wallet, token gating is the ability so that if you go, and it's pretty easy to do from a software side of things. If I go to a website and I go connect my wallet to this website, because an NFT is something that lives on a blockchain that anyone can see, I can immediately verify, hey, somebody just connected to my website and has proven that they own a Rob Frasca membership card NFT. And what I could do then is have the website go, hey, I see you're a member. Come into this special access section where you have access to, maybe a bunch of webinars that I'm basically
Yeah, yeah,
restricting to members only. And
right.
so that offers new monetization options, right? Because you
That's
could say like,
true.
hey, you
Yeah,
could sell a membership card and
right.
have this token gating. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is huge, right? The creator economy is all about memberships. Like look at
Hmm.
Patreon, right? How many billions of
Yeah.
dollars they sell in memberships, right?
Yeah.
People have a membership for their playlists. People have membership for their videos. People have membership for their podcasts. I mean, everything is this notion of membership. And the way most of those memberships are is I got to go log in, type my name, type my password, verify that it's Rob Frasca, and then once you
Yeah.
verify, you got to go through all this, BS. And if somebody, God forbid, gets my password, they can go in
Yeah.
and hack it, right? So now what you're
You don't
telling
even,
me is
yeah.
instead, all I need to do is hold the membership token, almost like an Apple Wallet, right? You have your card
Exactly like
in your
that.
Apple Wallet. It's the same kind of thing. Now I have these tokens and I'm holding them in my wallet, and I just show up to the website, connect my wallet, and it says, "Oh, you're Rob Frasca. Yeah, here you go. You can watch this podcast." That's what you're
Exactly.
saying,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. So
Exactly.
that sounds like a killer app to me. I mean, that, and then all of those different properties. Now that we're getting along here. We're going to wrap this up. How do you create an NFT? Like, how I want to go create an NFT. What do I do?
Well, there are different software packages out there that you can use to create an NFT, which mean the term is minting, and like, you put it on a blockchain and all of that. At npayme Labs, we have the npayme Create application, which allows you to do that as well. OpenSea actually allows you to create your own NFTs with some limitations. But if you want to go out there and create an NFT, there are ways to do it. If you're a nerd, you can write all the smart contracts yourself. Or if you're like, I need a tool to use it, you could use something like OpenSea. Just go to OpenSea and use it. Or if you need more sophisticated, if you want to create something like a membership card specifically, and have more features, you could use something like npayme Labs Create application.
Right. And then ultimately, like I've heard people making a fortune on these NFTs. They buy them and sell them, right? A lot of younger folks, college kids are doing this kind of thing. I imagine there's probably a lot of risk in doing that as well, right? I mean, talk to me
Well,
a little bit about that. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
go on
it's the
OpenSea and I
market.
just see this stuff, and it's just it blows my mind. Literally billions of dollars is being spent on different NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a highly speculative and wild west marketplace. It taps into people, the sort of people who are, there's this sort of fascination with like Pokemon, rare Pokemon, collecting rare baseball cards. It's like, oh, that's cool. I want this rare thing. And so what you see on places like OpenSea is you see not just people selling them, the creators selling them, but the big money is where it's the secondary market. It's the secondary market because these are NFTs and you truly own them. You can buy an NFT from the creator and be like, oh, I'm going to now put it up for sale for twice as much as I paid for it. And if it's ultra rare, maybe someone will buy it. And then that drives the price up and that gets everyone FOMO'd. And it's like, oh, these are going up.
Yeah.
So it's a highly speculative market. And a lot of it is, people are like, oh my God, people are trading and buying and selling, crazy, just little cartoon pictures that have no functionality behind them. They're just to look at.
Yeah. So the way I think about this really, as I hear you talking, is this really digital rights? It's the next generation of digital rights management. I mean, that's really
That's
what
true.
it is, right? I mean, if you think about what Steve Jobs did with iTunes and the iPod, it was all about digital rights management for music and putting the songs in your pocket and paying for them. And now people, You know, if you think, remember we were talking about membership and subscription, right? It used to be you went to iTunes and you bought a song or you bought an album. Now you go to Apple Music and you pay $19.99 a month or whatever it costs, right? Spotify, I think, is $9 a month, and you have access to all this music. So it went from, you know, individual songs to a membership model, and now we've got this whole new technology, you know, for digital rights management. So look, we're getting at the end of the time. Just last question here: where do you see the future of this? Where's this going to evolve? Where's this going? Because it's much more than, you know, a bunch of pictures being sold on OpenSea, right? I mean, that's kind of like, it's a little blip compared to what the power of this is.
That's just the froth at the front of the giant wave. You know, that's just the frothy stuff at the beginning of this huge wave,
Yeah,
a huge volume of water. I
yeah.
see it in two areas. One, I see it around, you know, memberships. The idea of like using NFTs as membership cards, basically, that give you different powers in different ways. Because once you start building out on that, you could realize you could set up collaborations. It's like, hey, if you hold my membership card and you hold somebody else's membership card, when you connect to my website, if the website can easily check to see if you have both of them, oh, now you get 20% off all of the swag or clothing or whatever is
Oh,
on my
wow. So
website.
these could be coupons, or this could be discounts, or this could be,
Yeah,
I didn't even really think of that. That's
yeah,
incredible. So now this really bundles into e-commerce. So and now you have
yes,
digital rights management, but you also have membership. You could also have it as coupons. You could have it as frequent
yeah,
flyer, loyalty programs. All
yeah.
of those things can be kind of around this, right?
And also the last thing I'll say too is the idea of proof of ownership of something, right? Because when you prove that you're holding a particular NFT in your wallet, you can't fake that. This is cryptography. This is like why cryptography exists. It's like you can't, there's no way you can fake it. There's no way you can pretend it's a different thing. It's like, no, you got to have big math protects you, right? So you could map these, you could prove that you own something, and then you could think about the intersection with the physical world. Like, what if the metadata for a token that you're holding is actually like a contract, or maybe it's
Right.
a it's a
Well, like
it's a
look at
it's
when you
a
buy a house, right? You
certificate.
got to have title insurance because, right?
Exactly.
So now the
It's a
title is an
title.
NFT. Boom. You
Yeah.
don't even need title insurance there because it's cryptographically, you know, there. I mean, now right?
You can't forge it. You can't
Yeah.
forge an
Can't
NFT.
forge
It's
an NFT.
impossible to forge an
Forget it.
NFT.
Forget it. Wow,
The
this
same
is
way
pretty
it's
awesome.
impossible to just, like
Yeah.
create a new Bitcoin out of nothing or something.
Yeah.
It's like, no, cryptography protects you from all that. So I think this is
Oh,
it's all around memberships and intersections with physical world stuff over
yeah.
time.
Powerful stuff. Well, look, we're at the 15-minute mark, a little long. I always go a little long because it's cool stuff to talk about. John, I really appreciate you kind of getting us up to speed on NFTs.
Sure.
And thank you everybody for listening in. We had a good call here, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks.
See
Thanks for
you.
listening.
All right, I'm going to end it here.